Go.
Come on with the fake tears. Come on with the fake. Come on, man. Come on. Come on, man. Come on, man. Sup? Yeah. This is going to be a long one. If there's any, what's the name? Mike, that chapter's videos you want me to react to specifically, let me know that in the comment section below. But let's go to Suppy. You know, I still don't have a dance for that chapter or a snack.
Hey you, and welcome. My name is Mike. And it was on the 10th of September 2017 that a call went into Montgomery County Police. At first, it seemed like nothing that special or unusual. It was regarding a house fire. It was regarding a house fire in Bethesda, Maryland. The initial calls were saying that...
Bethesda, Maryland. What's up? Shouts out to my Maryland folk. What's good, Mo?
One occupant of this home on Danbury Road had escaped the burning home. But this guy who had made it out was saying that there was still somebody else left inside. And frankly, at this point, folks, it wasn't looking good. The entire house was becoming engulfed in flames and smoke. They knew that they would soon be looking for a body in the burnt-out remains of this Maryland home. But what they didn't know was that they would be finding something very strange and disturbing.
How it is? Fatal. Don't put it on the air yet. It'll just make media.
Yeah.
One or two?
One is getting transported and one gets out.
What about the status of the other one? What's the status of the other one? Do they know? Probably stable?
Yeah, probably. Homicide, I don't know, we should probably have...
That's fair.
Yeah.
Underneath that unassuming house on Danbury Road in Bethesda, Maryland, was this extensive secret tunnel system that had been years in the making.
Oh my God.
All the result of one man's paranoia and...
Look at that. You see the Walmart? You see the Walmart shacks? You know they was a club dad.
Fears about the end of the world, all leading to him hiring a desperate young man under very strange and shady circumstances. Ultimately all leading to probably one of the strangest murder charges you will ever hear. I guarantee it.
And you said the guy that lives here, what's his name? The guy who...
His name is Daniel Beckwitt. We actually had explosives apparently at his house.
This house or
this house.
And that was where?
In Champaign, Urbana,
Illinois.
I think they kept him in jail for a while, but he couldn't have done much time.
Just for your safety, this guy has been known to have explosives in his residence. The guy was weird. He was really weird.
Yeah.
Not surprised.
Who is that?
Hey, Daniel.
Oh, that's the guy.
So I suppose we should look at the whole whatchamacallit batshitedness that has taken us here. Now, let's go back and begin at the nuclear apocalypse. The beginning. Let's give it a go. Bethesda, Maryland, northeast of Washington, D.C. is a fairly sort of well-known place. Well-known for wealth and affluence, but we are going to the home of the Beckwitts. That was at 5212 Danbury Road. A leafy neighborhood with all these little old houses in it. That one you're eyeballing right now, you bet your ass, that's where old Dan Beckwitt grew up. Daniel Beckwitt was born in 1991, only child to David and Linda Beckwitt. And growing up, he always had this fascination with technology, computers, electronics. Friggin' nerd. From a young age, it seemed like he was well beyond his peers when it came to his ability to figure this kind of stuff out. Now his family, Linda and David, they were just a little eccentric. They were definitely hoarders, as you will see. But for Daniel, that was just more stuff to tinker around with growing up in 90s suburban Maryland. Daniel's father, David, he was a singer. He had performed in operas and musicals. Linda, his mom, she had at one stage worked as a government attorney, but she turned that around by saying, well, she was surrounded by like scummy people, so she too decided to become a singer. I don't know if she was any good. Tragically now, Daddy David was diagnosed with Parkinson's when he was pretty young. Just in the year 2000, when his son Daniel was only 9 years old, so Linda would become his primary caregiver. Not just to her husband though, I mean, we're going to get into a lot of Daniel Beckwitt's life, but he was pretty smothered growing up as a kid. I mean, for example, if anybody even walked too close to their house, Linda would just barge out the door like a Rottweiler, would just like shouting at them till they scampered off. Jesus. And if anybody somehow did manage to get too close to the Beckwitt home, all they would see was piles and piles of L shite, as they were the ultimate hoarders. I mean, you can imagine in this neighborhood on Danbury Road, in Bethesda, the Beckwitts would have sort of been known as kind of the local weirdos. This story will only make that reputation worse. Daniel was absolutely the apple of Linda's eye. She believed he was a genius, like an absolute genius, to the point where she homeschooled him. He also wasn't allowed to have friends, and anytime he did venture outside of the Beckwitt home, his parents were like 5 feet behind him at all times. So I guess with no outside...
Oh, God! The Beckwitts! They are clucked. That whole name, that whole family, oh, Jesus.
Legal for Daniel, he found comfort and friendship and everything online. With technology, with the internet, which was just taking off.
On safety, I'm going to show you an extremely unique phone frequency trick that works today. That trick is dialing the phone number using nothing but the flip switch. The trick obviously only works on landlines, but cell phones don't have a quick switch, they just have a button.
He would learn how to hack computers, phones, jailbreak PlayStations, and would spend hours upon hours in his later teen years on message boards, and then on places like 4chan and Reddit. He would post on YouTube fairly regularly back then too, on the channel Backyard Skunkworks, doing all sorts of little experiments in his home.
Oh, man.
And while speaking of all this technology, hacking, all things internet, did you know that your precise location can be tracked every time you log onto the internet? Every time you log onto the internet, somebody can find out where you are in the real world. If somebody wanted to find you, they could. Easy.
Not for me! Because I got Adidas protection. That's all I'm saying.
When Daniel Beckwitt finally got into his late teens, he decided to head off to university. He's going to get some learning done, so he headed off to the University of Illinois.
So, Daniel went from the comfort of his mama home and being up under her and being so close physically with her, with like them two being around 24/7, to just going away to a university.
Electrical and computer engineering. Now, as a guy so enthusiastic about computer technology, it was around this time that Daniel first learned about Bitcoin. This is back in around 2011. And boy, oh boy, folks, when he learned about Bitcoin, he was in there like swimwear. Sure, he only thought it was great. He was all in on Bitcoin. It's like that's, the story of that guy back in 2011 who bought 2 pizzas for like 10,000 Bitcoins. Whereas if he had just held on to that same amount of Bitcoin, it would be worth millions upon millions of dollars. I'm sure the pizza tasted great though. Oops, it was Papa John's. Scratch that. But that was around the same time Dan dove in, when Bitcoin was still not insane. I don't need to spend a whole lot on this. Just know that all through the background of this story, he was mining and buying and hoarding Bitcoin. Hence how he would become a multi-millionaire in his late 20s. He was holding, and he would do a little of day trading, buying and selling. buy high, sell low, I think is how it works, or at least that's how it always works for me. Daniel was a big believer in it, because he was not a big believer in big government. He was sort of a paranoid individual, maybe a little bit to be fair. He really truly was against any sort of government interference. He did not put his money in the bank. He really believed in this decentralized currency that Bitcoin was. One other thing to know about Daniel is that he was terrified, absolutely would shit himself at the prospect of his own death. I mean, I guess that's sort of normal, but he would take that to the extreme. For example, he would enforce his mom's car and then later his own with Kevlar. He wore body armor under his clothes wherever he went.
Oh.
In one article written by William Brennan about...
Oh, my God was ready to go at any moment. Okay. Jesus.
He describes how Daniel removed every single mole on his body that was bigger than 2 millimeters, because he was just absolutely terrified of the prospect of getting any kind of skin cancer. He would drink these strange concoctions of caffeine and pharmaceuticals every single morning. And of course, as somebody who had grown up close to the nation's capital, he had the strongest fear of a nuclear apocalypse. I mean, I guess if there's a nuclear wars to break out, he figured DC would be one of the first places to be hit. And then also, he grew up in Bethesda where Fallout was made, and Fallout kind of was DC getting nuked. But he was, nuclear fallout, nuclear apocalypse though, was on his mind at all times. Of all the fears to have, nuclear apocalypse, come on, what a dipshit. Don't read the news. But death still hit. When Daniel was 19, his mom, Linda Beckwitt, she very, tragically and quickly died of breast cancer.
Oh.
Only 3 people attended her funeral. His dad, David, who Parkinson's, he was then placed into an assisted living facility. So I'll throw Daniel a bone. It wasn't easy for him. Wasn't always easy for him. It was also around this time that Daniel began to attend conferences. First, he attended DEF CON 19. That was in 2011. DEF CON is still going on annually to this day. It's a hacking conference held in Las Vegas every year. You get speakers talking about security, hacking, software, digital architecture, all that stuff. In 2011, Daniel gave a talk there titled Hacking the Global Economy with GPUs. And folks, he was looking sharp as all hell. Oh yeah, brother. Shades, a black tee with Elite and the James Bond font. His codename, just like the Matrix, Skunkworks. I hope you enjoyed this clip as much as I did.
First, I'd just like to thank everyone for coming out and making this great DEF CON. This has been my first DEF CON, and I've really enjoyed it. Had a lot of great speakers here, and it's been fabulous attending, and just hope speaking is half as fun.
Yeah, shut up!
My handle's Skunkworks, and today I'm going to be talking to you about hacking the global economy with GPUs, or how I learned to stop worrying and love Bitcoin. Then first we'll start off with the usual housekeeping. I'm not a Bitcoin developer, I only play one on television. I'm an undergrad in electrical engineering, kind of a phone freak and a hardware guy.
Shut up!
This is my, as I said, first DEF CON, and I'm not affiliated with Lockheed Martin, just in case you're wondering from the handle. I'm going to try and cover as much as possible in this 20-minute turbo talk, kind of trying to aim this at all levels of Bitcoin, or all levels of knowledge about Bitcoin to the best of my ability. Feel free to go ahead and contact me, anything about the talk or anything.
Well, to be fair, his mother was a clucky, so... And that's her child. So it's obvious that he's a clucky too. That's what I'm saying. Just shut up!
And again, talks for informational purposes. Don't do anything stupid. So first, kind of some real basics about Bitcoin, how it came about.
Over time, Daniel also became obsessed with destroying hard drives as a way to destroy evidence, a way to hide from hackers, but also if feds are coming to take you downtown Chester Brand, you need to get rid of some stuff. How can you destroy a hard drive?
Why not just go off the grid the whole time? Why not just go to an island or go to I don't know. Just you doing the most.
With minimal collateral damage. The following year after he gave his first talk at DEF CON, now in 2012, Daniel attended another conference, this time ShmooCon 2012. And ShmooCon, much like DEF CON, another hacking conference, this one held annually in Washington, D.C. In 2012, Daniel, as Skunkworks of course, was proudly giving another talk titled, "And That's How I Didn't Lose an Eye, Emergency Data Destruction."
My pseudonym is Skunkworks, and today I'm going to be talking to you about hard drive anti-forensics. My talk's entitled, "And That's How I Didn't Lose an Eye, Emergency Data Destruction." Oh yes, and by the way, the picture up there is what used to be a hard drive platter after some modified thermite was applied to it. It's, as I believe I said in my paper abstract, about as forensically useful as a wet noodle now. So first a little bit about me. I'm an undergrad in electrical engineering at a major U.S. research university. I do a lot of, well, an insane amount of my own R&D outside of school in my basement in suburban Maryland. I'm experienced in basically everything from non-destructive entry to CUDA, VoIP to Tesla coils. I'm just a tinkerer. I love building stuff.
Yeah, shut up!
So I took on the Shmoo Group's hard drive data destruction challenge and succeeded in it. I'm cutting class to speak at ShmooCon. Actually had to cut Friday double E class to make the flight out. Okay.
When Daniel had attended DEF CON the year before, he had witnessed another talk. And there had been a challenge thrown down by the Shmoo Group who ran this conference. Basically, the challenge was, how can you destroy multiple hard drives with minimal collateral damage? And Daniel figured it out. Well, look at you.
Guys, you know the scene in the movie where, like, the cops are busting in, the hacker's like, oh no, and he's, like, trying to, what, EMP his drives or something? Is that where the idea came from?
Actually, the idea came from a presentation that the Shmoo Group put on at DEF CON. They came up with their own anti-forensics challenge for destroying a hard drive in 60 seconds.
This had been something Daniel had been working on all year, trying 300 different compositions, with varying degrees of success before he landed on Termite, and a specialized extraction system. He was doing this all the while attending university, living in Urbana in Illinois. Even the police began investigating him at one point, suspicious of all those fires, and, the Termite he was ordering to do all these tests to figure out the best way to destroy a hard drive. Right, you probably already noticed Termite is extremely dangerous. So, maybe they were worried he was like, do you have any other plans for that, Termite? But this is all just to show how thorough and intense a guy like Daniel was. Never let anything stop him, and you know what? Fair play to him for that. So attending all of these conferences and sort of bragging about how much of a genius he was, Balls for Brains over here got a little too cocky back in Illinois at the University of Illinois. What Brightspark ended up doing here late 2012, and he thought it was a great idea, was to hack a university professor's email account, find the answers to an upcoming exam he was going to have the class do, and sell those answers on. This part of the story does not go well for Daniel. The year was now 2012, and he was still undertaking his degree in electrical and computer engineering. In late November 2012, an email went round to all students of the class, titled, ECE 329 Exam 3 Solutions for Sale. The email went on to say, sales stop at 1757 CST, and all keys are distributed at 1802 CST. You will be refunded if some white knight snitches to the professors, but we can all cooperate. Am I right? Daniel was 20 at the time when he decided to make a little extra kibosh at selling on these college exam solutions to other students. Daniel at this stage was still technically attending the University of Illinois, though he hadn't registered for any classes in this semester. I think he had been suspended earlier on. And using this beautiful mind of mine, I can only hazard a guess as to why he was suspended. Probably for the very same reason, as the thing he's doing right now. Hacking, cheating, and stealing. It's kind of interesting, the thing about Daniel is he was a guy who was, so obsessed with things like privacy, things like decentralization, staying anonymous online. But the thing was, he was on the...
So get off the grid! Why are you still in the States?
All the time. And I think every single person knows nothing is ever erased from the internet. Ever. Even today, you can find out so much about the ECE hacker, as he would, later become to be known. And the thing is, his roommates would comment in threads on Reddit at the university and say he was known as a dick who would hack and steal, other students' passwords all the time. And if you didn't like it, that's a you problem. So what he'd done, though, in this case with the stealing of the exam answers was break into the science lab, destroying some locks and card readers. As he physically broke into the lab, he destroyed them with super glue and little metal filings, putting them in like the locks and the card readers, which would later end up costing the university a lot of money to fix. Broke into the lab and installed keyloggers into the university professors' keyboards. He did this to a couple of different computers. A keylogger, by the way, is a physical device that you install under the keyboard, and it's literally, you know, exactly what it says in the tin. You're typing away and it logs every single button you press, so therefore they can get your, you know, email addresses and your passwords and every single thing you have done. So he had that and he thought, whoop-de-doo, I'll sell it on to the lads. He actually sent a few emails from the professor's accounts too. Hello ECE 385 students. With the Thanksgiving break upcoming and a record high number of academic integrity violations, I would like to share this important message with you all. Penis. Daniel sent a lot of emails from various professors' accounts. He also did a Reddit Ask Me Anything. I am a ECE hacker. AMA, what have you always wanted to ask the infamous ECE hacker? It had very few questions and no real interesting answers, but as you can see, Daniel Beckwitt, he's given talks, he thinks he's a genius, he thinks he's like this hacker, cool dude. It's kind of sort of going to his head a little bit. It seems like Daniel had some beef with the university department, but this prank was a very poor move on Daniel's part because it stopped being, haha, you stole university answers, and it became a police, like the police got involved in this. The cops are now on the hunt for the ECE hacker who, besides doing the hacking, had also, as I said, destroyed all of these locks and card readers at university, costing the university $22,000. The police eventually did manage to track down Daniel Beckwitt, who, as I said, as somebody who was so obsessed with privacy and hacking, was very shy at hiding his own footsteps. They found a link between the emails that had been sent from the professor's accounts and Skunkworks, his pseudonym. They found a blog that he ran under the name Skunkworks, and on the blog there was a picture of himself. So then they knew that Skunkworks was probably the hacker, and Skunkworks was Daniel Beckwitt. They went to his on-campus apartment, they got a search warrant for it, they let themselves in, he wasn't there, but his laptop was. And again, his laptop was just there, open, not encrypted, no password, open that sucker up, everything was right there. Daniel fucking couldn't have hidden this worse if he had tried. He was arrested and charged with property damage, 2 counts of computer fraud, tampering with documents, and illegally possessing a firearm. They found a rifle in his apartment. He later entered a plea deal, most of the charges were dropped, and he had to serve 24 months probation and paid the university back $22,000 for the cost of fixing everything. However, at this stage, paying the $22,000 back, no big sweat for old Dan Boy, because not only had he made, by this stage, you know, millions off of Bitcoin, when his mom Melinda passed, she had left him like $2 million.
Jesus.
So, it's not the end of the world. He moved back to Bethesda, Maryland. He now had the entire house he grew up with as his own little bachelor pad. Around this time, 3 things happened. 1, he tried to create his own Wikipedia page because he just thought he was the dog's bollocks. And it was deleted for, and I quote, unremarkable persons with no real claim to notability. Extensive coverage in multiple reliable sources, not found. Womp womp. 2, he had a new pseudonym. The Skunkworks no more. He was now known as Tree Alarm Lamp Scooter, which was a reference to a novel called Interface. The novel Interface is very much up Daniel Beckwitt's alley. It was about this shadowy group trying to like control the president and take over the world, take over the economy, like Illuminati, that kind of stuff. And Tree was that he became obsessed, and I mean really, really obsessed, with what he believed was an upcoming, any day now folks, an upcoming nuclear war between the United States and North Korea. He created a new Reddit account under the name Tree Alarm Lamp Scooter, of course, And if you go onto it today, almost all of the comments are related to articles about news and technology. And he commented a lot on any threads related to North Korea's nuclear capabilities. He also strangely knew a lot about caves, specifically man-made caves and tunnels.
There you go. There it is.
In 2016, he was back giving talks just like he had been in 2011 at DEF CON and in 2012 at ShmooCon. This time, though, when Daniel would give talks, he wore it in his whole, fire-resistant getup that he had used when he had been making the termite bombs to destroy hard drives.
Jesus.
All right, we're going to go ahead and turn the time over to 3 Alarm, and he's going to go ahead with his presentation.
What?
Okay, so why are you all intently staring at some weird dude in a fire proximity suit about to deliver a talk entitled, "This message will self-destruct in 10 seconds, avoiding bilateral nucleation"? Well, the short answer is the Shmoo works in mysterious ways.
He talked a lot about thermate, heat, forensics, all sorts of chemicals.
Anyways, I think we're about done on time now, so I'll turn it over to the EFF so that they can,
Shut up!
Let you know about the latest legislative creepings by our misguided government toward the Orwellian tyranny of a global panopticon powered by signals intelligence. All right? 3 Alarm Lamp Scooter out.
Later that very same year, 2016, he gave another talk, once again dressed in the same getup. But this talk, the topic of conversation, it was a little bit different from his previous discussions about hacking, Bitcoin, thermite, and hard drives. This time his talk was all about how to nuclear war proof yourself.
What?
Because again, the nukes are going to fall any day now, lads.
Audio's good? Okay, so I'm 3 Alarm Lamp Scooter, and today I'm giving a talk on DIY nuke proofing. So show of hands real quick. Anyone here tried to come to this talk last year? Anyone? Anyone? Got a few, okay. Anyone spotted as a Fed in the Spot the Fed panel that replaced this talk last year? Okay, I guess no one's that brave. So anyways,
Shut up!
This was all he was thinking about. He was full sure a nuclear conflict was coming. And remember, as someone who lived in Bethesda, Maryland, he would be getting glassed right quick.
So I decided to look at, some different options for this, and, you can obviously go small like a trash can or whatever, or go ahead and actually, purpose-build a hardened facility, and that's where I looked at MIL-STD 188-125-1, high-altitude electromagnetic pulse protection. Oh, we got the time?
We're done.
Okay, shoot.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks a lot.
That man was getting carried away with his cluck self.
He began digging. This had always been sort of a little project for Daniel, but it really began sucking diesel in 2015-2016. He would go down into the little basement of his home on Danbury Road, and in a corner, past all the hoarder shite, past the boxes and boxes of stuff that's been there for decades. Sometimes these boxes would lead up to the roof, it would cover floor to ceiling in some places in the basement. It was like a maze in the basement to get to this little corner, 3 foot by 3 foot corner of the basement where he was just digging. He was digging straight down. He began, first jackhammering the concrete floor of the basement, and then he got out the shovel. He truly thought the nukes were coming. Now, as a wealthy man, you can purchase actual fallout shelters, but, well, remember, he doesn't trust anybody. He does not trust a single person, and he doesn't want anybody to know that he's digging a nuclear shelter that's just for them. Nobody else allowed in here. So he's going to dig it by himself. And so, dig baby dig. Over time, he made slow but steady progress using just a shovel and a bucket.
Was it the Lion King 1.5 or something? Where... What was that little Timon and Pumbaa? Was it Timon? They was all digging they was all digging tunnels underground. But remember that song of Lion King? It was like, dig a tunnel, dig a tunnel, dig a tunnel. Was it that? Or was that a whole different movie?
Down. He began to then reinforce the walls. Rooms started to emerge in the dirt beneath his home, stretching out and out. It continued. He installed drainage, air filtration, passages eventually formed.
Jesus. That's crazy.
We're just videoing the hole right now.
And Daniel eventually was doing this for so long, he was thinking to himself, well, I need some help. First guy he hired a guy named Douglas to come. He paid him, get in there, dig baby dig. He said, I got a project. I'll pay you to dig secret tunnels underneath my house. He would meet Douglas, blindfold him, and take Douglas into the basement of his home. Blindfolding Douglas, of course, because he did not want anybody to know where this secret bunker was. This went on for months. 6, actually, before Douglas said...
So, how did they even get in contact? You gonna take me to your house and blindfold me? Man. I hope you don't got no kids.
You know what? I don't really want to do this anymore. And you know, now that you're kind of... This is actually a little bit weird. You know, I kind of just realized. After 6 months, I kind of realized...
6 months.
This is weird. Now, Daniel was always sort of weird and secretive about the tunnel, even to the people who helped him build it. Douglas, he didn't even know how actual big the tunnel was, how far it went back. It seemed like there was like secret passages down there that only Daniel was aware of, and things buried down there that only Daniel was aware of. Daniel would hint that there was gold bars buried down there in those tunnels. And even when you look at it, like on video, it doesn't even look that much like a fallout shelter. It looks more like a mine or something.
That's crazy. They dug all of that.
So now Genius over here had to find somebody else to help him build his nuclear shelter. Enter Askia Khafra. Askia was 20 years of age, son of Trinidadian immigrants, and he came from a pretty middle-class background. Regular fellow. His mom a teacher, his dad an architect. And Askia, he had big-ass dreams. Bigger than you could ever imagine. He wanted to be one of them Silicon Valley bros. Why? And he even had the idea of what his, billion-dollar idea would be. It was an app. One of them. It was an app called Equity Shark. Basically, it would be a crowdfunding platform for small startups. Askia thought this was the bee's knees, he thought it was the dog's bollocks. But he needed money. He needed investment. So one night, Askia was on Blab, a video chat site. It's not around anymore. But as he was on there, he saw a talk given by Tree Alarm Lamp Scooter. He was there giving out advice on Bitcoin, the incoming nuclear apocalypse, pharmaceuticals, digging tunnels, the usual. And Askia and Tree Alarm got talking. Askia mentioned his app idea, to which Tree Alarm said he seemed interested in. Now Daniel had found his new helper. They met at a bar, Daniel wearing his bulletproof vest, of course, and Askia, they chatted away for a bit. Daniel said he was pretty interested, and he offered $5,000 of an investment, which for a multi-Bitcoin millionaire does not seem like a hell of a lot. But for Daniel, I don't think he was really interested in the app. He was interested in hiring somebody. He made Askia an offer. He said, okay, I'll give you $5,000 to help with your app idea, and I will also be interested in giving you more investment capital. But if you come work for me, in addition to all of that, I will pay you $150 a day to dig. That's it. Askia said, sure, why not? Now Askia lived in Maryland as well, and he lived about 4 miles from where Daniel did on Danbury Road. But as Daniel, as I said, did not want anybody to know where his top secret nuclear fallout shelter was, he would go to Askia, pick him up in the middle of the night at around like 2 a.m.
Oh!
He would get Askia into his car and they would drive across the border to Virginia, about 40 miles away. Then he would blindfold Askia, drive around for another hour, and then he would drive him back to Bethesda, keeping Askia blindfolded as they got out of the car, walked through the house, down to the basement, guiding him past all of the junk and crap and this whole maze that was down there into those tunnels underneath his home. He also even used a VPN on the Wi-Fi in the house, so when Askia would pull out his phone to search where he was, it would say Virginia. He gave Askia a shovel and said, start digging. Now, by this stage, after Daniel working on it for a couple of years, having Douglas, by this stage, the bunker was actually getting, pretty impressive. Dan's very safe nuclear bunker. It was, pretty good. There was multiple passageways down there. There was drainage. He had electricity down there. He had, get to the electricity in a bit. But he had, an Xbox, a bed, a fridge. There was even a shower down there so that he could keep working at all times. There was this way down from the basement that takes you there. There's one passageway, which is a supply room where he keeps all the old shite. And then there's this other room where there's beds, fridge. This goes on for 200 feet. It goes 200 feet deep. He's got drainage and then a secondary exit out here, which Askia was never allowed to see, of course. So Askia would be down there with a shovel digging, put the dirt into a bucket and winch the bucket up through the passageway into the basement where Daniel would collect the bucket and throw it out. Askia was never allowed into the basement. He was never allowed to see any sort of daylight at all.
Wow.
Ever. The basement, most of the windows in the basement were either barred up or just completely closed over. There was this secondary exit, but it was blocked off with wood and lumber and that kind of thing. Askia would be down there 24/7 for days and days at a time. He would pee and poo into the bucket, winch it up. Daniel would then take it up into the toilet. And Askia would be messaging Daniel via Google Chat about how the progress was going. Daniel didn't have a cell phone at all. And it could sometimes be very claustrophobic down there. Askia would be texting his girlfriend saying how uncomfortable he was doing. And it wasn't exactly the safest. So while they did have power down there, fridge, TV, that sort of thing, the power was all connected to these extension cords. And it was extension cords connected to extension cords, basically making this one long chain that would go up then to the basement. So there was kind of wires all connected to these, it's not the safest way to connect power, I don't think. So even though Askia didn't like it down there, he had to wear these masks at all times, he felt it was extremely claustrophobic, he had his dream, and his dream needed some of this. The conditions Daniel had Askia down in were incredibly inhumane. He would pick Askia up and then keep him down there for days and weeks at a time.
Oh my God.
Askia down in the tunnels, eating, sleeping, showering down there.
What am I eating? Am I just eating trash? Am I eating McDonald's? Am I eating what the hell? If I'm going to be working down there for weeks on end, 24/7, hot, I at least need to pick out. I need at least to pick out my own food. Chipotle. Every time. And probably for breakfast, I'm very specific. Either IHOP, breakfast, or Denny's. But for lunch, probably Chipotle. Or some Ethiopian food with the injera. Oh yeah. Yeah. If I'm gonna be working down there for weeks at a time, I can't contact nobody. I can't do nothing. I'm just there. No sunlight. Oh, Jesus. No sunlight. I forgot about that. And I don't even know where I'm at. Yeah, I'm gonna need I'm gonna need the works. I'm gonna need the whole nine. I'm gonna need all of that. Yeah. I'm gonna need water when I want it, ice cold, Costco water, right? Like, yeah. Those working conditions sounds horrible.
Paying him $150 a day, which for what he was doing and the conditions he was in, pretty bad. It was cheap labor for Daniel, getting his tunnel built while he messed around on 4chan and Reddit. Askia, it seems, just didn't know any better and was beholden to Daniel as he really needed investment for his app, and so he would do whatever it took to make it a reality. I mean, frankly though, it looks like it sucks down there. There were only a few parts where you could actually stand. Most of it was done on hands and knees, trying to move past all this L shite. As you can see, not too nice and doesn't really look like much of a fallout shelter. Honestly, if nukes did drop, I would take my chances outside. And speaking of nuclear fallout, Askia and Daniel were spending a lot of time together, and this began to sort of rub off.
And then what I realized is, like, if a nuclear war did happen, wouldn't I don't know what the construction is like, but I feel like if a nuke hit y'all or somewhere near that tunnel, I feel like it was just started, because it's underground, I feel like the walls and stuff would just collapse. And now you're just trapped in there.
Askia. Even on his Facebook, he began posting more and more about North Korea and nuclear weapons.
Go back. What kind of post was that?
Sort of rub off on Askia. Even on his Facebook, he began posting more and more about North Korea and nuclear weapons.
Was that Instagram? I wonder if he still has an Instagram. Or what? I feel like that is Instagram, but I don't know what. I'm gonna look him up when I'm done. Askia.
And so now, we arrive into the early morning hours of September 10th, 2017. It was around 2 a.m., right, and Askia was down there digging away. Daniel was upstairs. He was on Reddit. You can even go onto his Reddit right now and see him commenting and replying on his Reddit account into the early hours, and then he fell asleep. It was at around 2:30 a.m. Askia down in the tunnel, digging away. Suddenly, power went out.
Oh no!
Askia messaged Daniel at 2:32 a.m. Holy shit, bro, there's no power down here.
You got all of that. You did all of that. For the tunnels. All of that was going, and you don't got a backup generator? You would think you would have one or two, maybe more, considering how important them tunnels are to you. And for those lights to cut off like that is crazy.
5 minutes later, and smoke in the basement.
Oh, man.
It was pitch black down there. The air filtration system was now gone out, and smoke just began to build up. Askia, however, for some reason, stayed and kept digging. Maybe he tried to get out, but he couldn't find his way out, and he wasn't too worried about the smoke in the place that has no escape, but he stayed down there. Then, hours and hours later, Daniel woke up from his sleep, and he saw on Google Chat the message about the smoke and the power going out. So Daniel then goes down, and basically his method for fixing the electrical problem, and remember, this is somebody who was doing a degree in electrical engineering. His plan for fixing this was just move around some of the extension cords, put them into different sockets, flip the circuit breaker, baby, you're good to go. Who knows how electricity works? Dig. Then at about 4 p.m, Daniel was up in his room once again, and he heard the carbon monoxide alarm going off. What the shit? And then he noticed the power had gone out once again. Flipped the circuit breaker, except this time coming from the circuit breaker, there was a loud buzzing noise coming from it. And now, coming from the basement, a shit ton of thick, black as all hell, smoke. He ran down to the basement, shouting down the tunnel to tell Askia, get the hell out of the tunnels, we gotta get the hell out of here, this place is going up, Flames just started going off and off and off everywhere. It was like in an...
At least he cared about him in somewhat way, form, or fashion. You know? Jesus.
This had turned into a furnace. Daniel himself soon became overwhelmed with the smoke and the fumes. He booked it out of his own house. He got out of his own house, Askia turned around, tried to go back inside, back down to the basement, but it was just too thick. The smoke and the flames overwhelmed Daniel. Askia had actually been showering in the tunnel when the fire had broken out, but all of a sudden then there was this really thick, heavy black smoke. So Askia, naked, he somehow managed to crawl his way through the claustrophobic tunnel and climb up the 15 feet into the basement. Now he's in the basement where the fire had actually started, and he couldn't get out. The hoarder situation was so bad there was just piles and piles of crap literally everywhere. To even get through it on a normal time, it was like a maze. Now it's like a maze on fire, unable to breathe and feeling the scorching heat on your skin.
Oh my God! Is he the one that didn't make it out?
Watch out!
The fire department soon arrived and met Daniel outside, who was shouting for them to go in. And when they did make it inside the burning home and to the basement, they found Askia just 2 feet from the door. He was dead, and he had died minutes before they reached him.
God damn.
Months from rescue and feet from safety, but it overwhelmed him. Horrific tragedy with a very bizarre twist.
All right, Sean. One or two?
One is getting transported, and one's been out.
What about the status of the other one? What's the status of the other one? Do they know? Probably stable?
Yeah, probably.
Suburban?
MedStar.
MedStar, okay.
Neighbors say the fire is at the home of 26-year-old Daniel Beckwitt. Beckwitt gets out okay.
It's horrendous.
Fire trucks, investigators in hazmat suits, 24-hour around-the-clock police surveillance. Police say there were some sort of tunnels underneath the home.
There's been stories about that. They mentioned like a hoarding situation. Could be anything from someone survivalist in an underground bunker.
We learn more about Beckwitt. Cops say he's cooperating. 17 days later, police identify the victim, 21-year-old Askia Khafra of Silver Spring. His father says Khafra attended Montgomery College and was an entrepreneur.
Daniel was taken to hospital, and at first when he was questioned by the police, and the police weren't really sure what to call this entire situation. At first he told them, oh, the basement and tunnel, that's a bachelor pad for Askia. I was going to stay there. Obviously he didn't want to say...
What? Bachelor... I'm mad. I'm mad now. I'm mad now. What bachelor pad looks like that? I guarantee you mine didn't look like that.
Is nuclear war coming? He didn't really want to mention that at all. But they quickly soon figured it out. When the police went down there, they could definitely tell there was something weirder and darker in those tunnels.
I don't know, to be honest with you, I don't know much about it. I was
There was
home.
a house fire with
Okay.
electrical breakers. It was caught a whole huge fire in the basement. I couldn't get through to them. I was just yelling, Askia, there's fire, we gotta get out. I said, yo, dude, there's like too much smoke. Couldn't get through to them. So I went outside, I was getting all inhaled. And I went out. I managed to come back in again, and I couldn't find it all at that point. Like there was just flames up. So I just grabbed a couple gas canisters, one propane can, and went outside.
And he was in the basement.
Yep.
When you got up, did you see him in there?
I saw him earlier. Yeah, I saw him earlier. It was like, geez, I don't know, maybe somewhere around Central, basically, give or take.
Center, and he was on the computer?
Yeah, he was on the computer.
Did he say anything to you?
Nothing too notable. I mean, maybe it was like some back and forth about that called me. Something he'd seen in the news, but...
Does he normally stay in the basement?
Yeah, he was staying down there.
Oh, he was sleeping down there?
Yeah, he was sleeping down there. I was sleeping upstairs.
Jesus.
So he basically just stays down in the basement, works on the computer, sleeps down in there.
Mostly.
Any reason that he stays at your house and works on the computer and not at his own
I
house?
mean, a lot of the times you just want to get away from your parents, honestly. Like, they
So
were
it's kind of
just...
like a bachelor pad at your house?
Exactly. So they're like a bachelor pad, so, you know.
How much smoke was there when you
Oh,
were done
really
with
long.
that?
I literally could
Really?
not see 18 up this part of this. I could only see this, like, black kind of smoke cloud pretty much coming off in the area where I suspect the fire started. It was just like black cloud pretty much. But I could still hear it. He said, yo, dude, it fills me really nuts. He was so close. I was like, you gotta make it out here, man. I just couldn't do anything.
So, when I called to find out how bad the house was, right, and they said that the fire rescue was going through, like you said, methodically, to try to see as they go through, you know what I mean, to look for anything. They were looking to see if there was anybody else in there, and things like that, right?
Yeah.
And that's why you answered that. And, but when they did, they found tunnels. So what is that for?
Yes, everyone's got more issues these days, right?
So what are you digging tunnels for? I mean, I don't care. I'm just asking.
Honestly, just thinking of a good response that.
Like, are you building like a bunker?
Yeah, I mean, it was crazy until North Korea started to one.
And you just wanted to have somewhere to go. He could have easily went down the ladder
He
and
could have
survived.
easily gone down the ladder and survived, which is what just, I mean, I don't know if he was like miles.
No.
They took Daniel back to the home briefly to show him what remained of the house he'd grown up with, where somebody had died, and people were eyeing Daniel for murder charges.
I would too.
You're being recorded, all right?
Come on with the fake tears. Come on with the fake. Come on, man. Come on, man. Come on, man. I would have slapped them up. Like, I would have slapped them on the back with it. Come on, man.
We'll take the announcement first. It's not really a game about there, so easy into it.
What you doing? What you doing? What? You don't care about him. You never did. What you doing? What? Shut up! Shut up. Daniel, shut up!
Let's do this. Let's go up and you can tell me where you were, like in your bedroom when this whole thing started.
All Danny wanted to do was build tunnels. He didn't care about Askia. I say it's right. Say it right.
I just need a second. All right, a second. Gotta put myself together. So upstairs first? Yeah, let's go where this whole thing first started. I don't even know where the laptop. Maybe it's under. Can I hold that for a second? See if it was on the bed right here. Hey Daniel. Mm-hmm. One of the investigators collected a laptop. I don't know whether it's yours or Askia's or what.
At one point there, he does the oh my god, this place is such a mess. You should have been here before the fire started. It was pristine.
We'll go this way, because that room has a lot of bugs in it. Oh dear. I don't like them. Yeah. Oh my goodness. This is way messier than it was before.
Was it?
I mean,
Was
it
it?
was in good shape before, but you can walk through a lot.
Daniel, I'm going to put a measuring cup full of money out on the front porch so we've got it on the way out, okay?
Okay. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, look at all this. Oh wow, that shelf's small.
But this video really did show you how bad the hoarding situation was in this house.
Daniel, just fess up. Just fess up. You dirty. You are clucky. You sus. And cahoots. Yeah. You dirty though. Like you dirty. You dirty. You dirty. You dirty. You dirty.
You see the smoke coming up, and then you go
And
downstairs.
at this point, I'm like, you
Let's
know,
follow your path down there.
The door's gonna stick me out. Oh man.
Jesus.
So he was probably already over here, you think, second time. This is the worst spot he could have gone to. Oh, wow. Most likely. Oh, wow. Then with the smoke.
Curious if any of my dad's paintings survived. There was
What?
a big box from over here.
He was a painter? I thought he was a singer.
Oh, he painted too. There was definitely some bad lighting in here though. Holy shit.
At first, it seemed to have been a tragic accident. Investigating the home, they found money everywhere. Gold bars even. $10,000 in cash was found in the Beckwitt home. It seems Daniel had a lot of secrets down there. But what they were, we don't know.
I handed him some glasses and he put them on.
What do you mean glasses?
They were just like blacked out glasses,
Like sunglasses, or they completely cover your eyes?
completely covering.
So he couldn't see anything?
No, he was
Okay.
cool with it. I mean, I told him before he ever came, I was like, this is one of the conditions. You're gonna wear
What did you,
blind.
tell me what you said.
Oh, I just said, you know, I'm concerned about people knowing exactly where this is at. And as a result, you know, if you want to come here, we've got to put this on for duration of the drive and walking in. And he was always cool, you know, so that if he did decide to ever turn on me or whatever, he'd be like, oh yeah, that's down in Lake Anna or wherever. And, you know,
I get it,
I have no
because
idea.
if North Korea bombs us,
Everyone's
you don't
gonna
want
be looking
everybody
for
coming
us.
through your bunker.
Exactly.
I agree.
Exactly.
I understand. So
That was the only reason why.
you would then drive back to your house.
I can't tell if he has open-toed shoes. If you're talking to me and your toes are open, like I can see your toes. Don't talk to me. You dirty.
He kept the glasses on.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then would you hold on to his arm? How would you get him in the
I'd
house?
usually just have the key lanyard. I'd give him one end of the key lanyard and he'd just take a few steps, and just leave him with that.
And did you take him in through your front door?
Only the basement door.
Only the basement door.
Uh-huh.
So was it unlocked, or you would unlock it?
I would unlock it.
Okay.
If I was there.
So he would hold on to your. Do you have your keys with you?
No, they're still down in
So how long is the lanyard?
Yeah, a foot maybe.
Oh,
Maybe a
really?
little over a foot.
Okay, so you tell him to hold on,
Mhm.
and you would just kind of guide him
Yeah.
down the
Yeah,
back.
and then pull the glasses off once he's inside. And I'm yelling like, Askia,
How bad
fire.
is the smoke when you go down the
Really
steps?
bad.
Is it in the finished area?
I think some of it was starting to leak out, just mostly in the unfinished area still at that point. There was like maybe a little trickling into the finished area.
Okay,
But
so
the unfinished area is just packed with smoke.
Oh.
Just seconds, I mean, it's literally just seconds packed with smoke.
Okay, and what do you do?
I'm yelling like, Askia, fire, gotta get out, you know, whatever exactly.
Did you?
It was 8 months after the fire broke out that Daniel was charged with probably the most unusual charge I've ever heard of. Involuntary manslaughter and second-degree depraved heart murder.
What?
Depraved heart murder is quite the title. What's that all about? Well, second-degree murder, as you know, is murder that's not premeditated. So second-degree depraved heart murder basically means you're putting somebody in such a dangerous position, and you know how dangerous, like, you know...
Oh, that's like saying you invite me over to your house, but every brand that you have in your house is Nike. It's not Adidas in sight. My life is in danger. I don't see not one near Adidas sign in your house. But I see Jordans. I see Reebok. I see Vans. I see Chucks. I see Nike. You know what I mean? But no Adidas. Yeah, no, my life is in danger.
The position is, and then dying, it equates to murder. Basically, you knew how dangerous this was. You sent them in anyway. You killed them.
Now, the News at 11 continues with new details on a strange case from Bethesda. Firefighters found a man dead in a network of tunnels under a house last fall. Investigators have now filed charges, and there were some straight up weird details in the court documents we've just received.
The tunnels were lined with what police call a haphazard daisy chain of extension cords and plug splitters. They say it could have caught fire at any second. Police say Beckwitt knew it was a problem, but did nothing to warn Khafra.
His bond was set at $10,000. Had he though? Had he known? Had he murdered Askia Khafra? I mean, well, as somebody who knew a lot about electrics, he probably should have done a better job of not allowing the fire to start and then killing this guy he had hired who was just looking to make a few extra bob so he could launch his app. And then, I mean, the whole fact that smoke had started coming earlier on that same day and he was hearing buzzing coming from the electrics, you kind of feel like he probably should have known better. Askia's family also filed suit against him, wrongful death, and the tunnels became a big issue. No one knew how far they actually went, under whose homes, neighbors' homes, were other houses in danger of collapsing. It was a little bit wild. The trial of Daniel Beckwitt took place in 2019, and it lasted 7 days. The verdict ultimately coming down as guilty, that Daniel was responsible for the death of Askia Khafra. The judge saying it was basically like an employer providing unsafe working conditions. So unsafe, it amounted to murder. Daniel was sentenced to 9 years in prison. I mean, I suppose prison is sort of like a nuclear fallout shelter, but not a good one. Daniel was originally supposed to be sentenced to 21 years, but the judge suspended all but 9 of those years. Pretty light sentence in all honesty.
For what? Okay, judge. We need to talk.
Smoke and buzzing was coming from the circuit breaker, and Daniel's response, a man who knew about electronics and the conditions they were in, was to simply, have you tried turning it off and back on again? That led to Askia's horrifying death, burned beyond recognition. That, combined with the awful hoarding situation, it was a recipe for disaster. His dream was kind of over, which is, not good for him. But what was good for him, for Daniel, was that in March 2022, his conviction was his sentence was reduced, making him eligible for parole. And he was released. There's so many questions about the Daniel Beckwitt story. And I mean, after he was released from prison, that's kind of where the story ends. What else was going down in those tunnels? How far did they go in? The police...
So what's going to happen? This motherfucker is out and about now. So what's going to happen? I feel like he's still in that mindset of nuclear stuff. What's going to happen when he does it again? He gets a house, or he finds a spot and starts digging and hires somebody else. And something like this happens. And his helper dies. When Daniel could have prevented it. That would get him another 9 years. But then scratch that 9 years and let him go free. Let him get off the hook. After like a year or so. Like, what?
Never even went in to fully explore the tunnels themselves, saying it was just way too dangerous down there. The tunnels were like in danger of collapsing. What secrets did Daniel get down there? What else did he have buried down there? And could Daniel have saved Askia? Askia only feet from the entrance to the basement, tragically dying only minutes before firefighters arrived. This story is batshit. Daniel's descent into paranoia had fatal consequences. Just not for him. Tragically for somebody he hired and put in what is one of the weirdest situations I've ever come across. The Redditor who built a secret tunnel under his house, leading to the murder of this poor guy. The house still stands to this day. I haven't come across any information saying otherwise. In December 2017, there was a demolition order stating the deep excavation and extensive network of tunneling and bunkers extending from under and out from the structure are a significant and immediate threat to the support and stability of the building and the property on which it sits, rendering the building unsafe to occupants. This problem is compounded by conditions reported by emergency responders who accessed the structure, which included extreme hoarding, evidence of a lack of or inaccessibility to proper sanitization facilities, and the presence of a significant amount of hazardous materials. This went through the courts, and it appears this order was later rescinded. Daniel's father, David Beckwitt, sadly passed away in 2018, a year after the fire. The ownership of the house then passed to Daniel. And today, the current owner is Danbury Resource Holdings LLC, just a holding company, as far as I can tell. The county has issued an order of abatement to Daniel to make sure the house is safe, though who knows how far that process has gone. And from what I can tell, the tunnels still remain. I can imagine Daniel transferred ownership and would rather leave this entire mess behind him. As for where Daniel is today, I have no idea. So what else was or is down there? Gold makes sense as someone who didn't believe in financial institutions, and a hoarder too. Daniel was a bizarre and paranoid individual who knew a lot about computers and explosives. It wouldn't surprise me if he had more secrets still buried underneath the house. And so that sort of wraps up this one, folks. So if I had to tell you anything, digging holes underneath your house, it's not the best idea in the world. Frankly, wouldn't recommend it. Just play Fallout if you want to know what it feels like. Probably a better experience. Thank you so much for watching, and also thank you to the Montgomery County Police for sending me footage and files on all of this case. It took them only a couple of months, but I appreciate it. Please take care of each other and yourselves in the upcoming nuclear apocalypse, because I love you. Mike out.
I really thought they was going to cover up them tunnels. Those tunnels are still tunnels. Can you imagine the new people that's in that? Well, it's not a home. Like, they made it into like a, I forgot what he literally just said it, but like a building. It's not a house though. But can you imagine the people that's in that building now? Like, they just go randomly come across those, they might randomly come across those tunnels. I wonder what they're gonna think about. Like, can you imagine? You just exploring one day. You decide to go down the basement. And there's tunnels, deep tunnels. Like, what is your first immediate thought? Like, oh my God, I could fart. Yeah, but no, Daniel should have got way more time without no promotion. No, what's it called? Probation? Yeah. No, was it probation? He should have just got either life or like a long time in there, because he could have prevented that dude's life. He knew what was up and he didn't do nothing about it. That's crazy. Keep it cool, keep it classy, and I love you. Stay happy. My family.